Hi, and welcome again to Tucson Media Partners Partner Profiles. I'm Brett Fair here, and I'm excited to be here with my colleague, Tom Burmingham. Tom is one of our retail sales managers. How are you, Tom? Thanks for being here.
Doing great, Brett. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're going to dive into what you do in your role as a sales manager, but I want to go back in time a little bit first here. Start off by asking you, what was the first job that you ever held?
First paid job?
Either way, first job that you felt helped sort of, I guess, shape the path of your career to some extent.
Okay, so I grew up in Phoenix, and I think my first paid job was a paper carrier for the afternoon paper, the Phoenix Gazette. I think I was 12, and I had that job for about 2 years.
And you mentioned when I was asking you kind of about, before we got here today, about that job, you mentioned that you like to make it an efficient process for you. Tell me a little bit more about that. It was basically, you didn't want to go necessarily collect from everybody every day. You made sure you kind of fit it into your own.
So the route was, every afternoon, except for Sunday morning. It was we delivered the Republic, but we were also responsible for collecting, the people's payments. And so that was supposed to be done every week, although that was a big chore because I think I had 35 to 40 different deliveries. So I would just every week just get enough collected to pay the bill that I owed, the Gazette, and then I'd go pick the other up when I had a chance to. And sometimes that meant, many weeks. And of course, people got mad when all of a sudden you gave them a bill for $20 as opposed to 90 cents. So I learned quickly that you needed to be on time with the total job too.
Fast forward to today, and I can tell you that that's something that you're on top of now, is making sure that your clients are taken care of, accounts are kept up to date. Tell us a little about your role as a retail sales manager. What goes into that, and what sort of has led you to your role here today with Tucson Media Partners?
Well, so I think it all starts with a really talented team that I have. So I've got 4 very talented salespeople that are on the team, plus a couple amazing assistants that really help out during the day-to-day. And I think really the fact is that really trying to stay on top of all the initiatives that we have and being able to look ahead so you're not just in the day or the week ahead, but also doing the planning. And I think that's the key, so that something just doesn't pop up and all of a sudden you find out, hey, you're behind the 8 ball and you're scrambling. So this is a crazy business that we're in, and so everything is changing on a daily basis, weekly basis, but really what we need to do is just stay on top of what's happening right now, but also looking in advance.
So what areas sort of fall under you and your team's purview? What types of clients do you work with on a regular basis?
So we handle all the real estate accounts, we handle home builders, we handle all the automotive RV dealers, and then we also have a specialty publication, Saddlebag Notes, that's in the retirement community of Saddlebrook. And that's a monthly publication, so that's what we do.
You mentioned the real estate and home building. You were telling me at one point a story about when you were growing up and going to college, I think, at U of A. I was curious about this because it connects directly to the ever-changing landscape of real estate and talking about when you were in school and something with your family, I remember.
So my dad grew up in Tucson back in the 50s, went to the U of A, went to Tucson High, went to the U of A, then went to law school. But he, when I was a freshman, he took my brother and myself on a car ride, and he took us to a house he grew up in over in the Sam Hughes area, which was close to campus. And as we were driving by, we noticed that the house was for sale. And both my brother and I thought that would be a great opportunity for him to buy the house so that we could both live there. And
every college kid's dream.
Yeah, and I just thought that would be so great to get out of the dorm and be able to have this house. And he did look into it, and he found out that the house was some astronomical, which would probably be which would have been a great buy then, but he couldn't, justify it because his aunt had sold it for $13,000 back in the day. So that ended that dream. So
fast forward to now, and in that, not just that neighborhood, but all across town. Obviously, we aren't seeing prices in anywhere in that hemisphere anymore.
Yeah, it's been a crazy market. I think things are calming down a little bit. I think that houses are staying on the market because of interest rates, which really is putting a little bit more on marketing and being able to put those houses in front of that realtor's most profitable customer, and really trying to be smart about how they're showcasing those houses.
Well, and that's where you and your team and your roles come in, is making sure it's getting in front of the right people and in the right situation, and making sure that it's bringing a return for those advertisers.
Absolutely.
So you've been in the advertising game or marketing for quite a while. What's a piece of marketing wisdom or advice that you've heard at some point in your career that has sort of stuck with you, that you either impart on your team or that you remember when you're on a call working with a client?
You know, I've had a lot of great mentors over the years. I think some good advice that I've had is really understanding your customer, getting the information about who their most profitable customer is, and then building a campaign with tactics around who their most profitable customer is, as opposed to just spraying it out to everybody.
Right.
And really, I think that's one thing that I've learned, is that really understanding the customer's needs and who their best customer is, and then putting that campaign together that really reaches that audience.
Can you remember a point in your career where there's either a compliment you received from a client that stuck with you, or what's a really memorable experience you've had working in this business, particularly for our organization, but at any point in your career? Is there a moment that kind of
it's always satisfying when you go back to a customer after a campaign, or just checking in on a regular basis, that they've had great success. They've had people that come in, they've seen the ad, they've seen the campaign, and they've bought. And I think that's the true measure. It's really, is the business doing better than it was before they started advertising? And to me, that's the biggest compliment, when you can see a business that's growing because of the fact that they're investing in their promotion and their advertising.
You mentioned businesses growing and evolving, and you've been in Tucson for a few decades, you were telling me, and with this company for quite a while as it evolved from the Daily Star and the various iterations of that. Kind of share with us now how you've seen the evolution and growth of what Tucson Media Partners is able to do and provide for its clients beyond just being the Daily Star, which obviously has so much cachet and importance here, but it's much more than that, right?
Well, I think it always starts with our audience. You know, Arizona Daily Star has always had an audience. It's just shifted a little bit from the print piece to more of a digital audience, you know, whether it be the e-replica of the Arizona Daily Star or Tucson.com, or the fact that we have This is Tucson, which has a very supportive and engaged audience,
right,
to La Estrella, to Saddlebag Notes, and all the other publications that we do. We just are finishing our Reader's Choice Awards this year, which was our biggest ever, and just the engagement we had with Reader's Choice over the community is outstanding. And I think that brand over the last 6 or so years has really created a buzz, and people really value the fact that they're either a winner or a favorite with Reader's Choice.
So shifting gears, last two questions, want to go back to you.
Sure.
We're kind of near the end of summer here, but I'll ask it as if Saturday in the summer here in Tucson, where are we finding you, Tom? What are you doing? What's your goal for, this is what I want to be doing on a Saturday, or what you are doing on every given Saturday?
So, it's kind of a relaxation, thing over the weekend. During the summer, it's hot, so it's trying to get up early and do things. I'm kind of a project person around the house. I like to cook, like to grill, like to watch a little bit of TV, but there's not a lot of sports on in the summer. So it's just whatever's happening, with what my wife and family want to do. So I like to go down to Sonoyta, get out of the heat a little bit, on the weekends. So that's another thing.
What would you want to be doing? Did I hear you say?
So I wish I had these ambitions, like a lot of people do, that I restore Land Cruisers, or that I do metal art, welding or something, like that. But I don't do that. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm.
Well, we mentioned you've been in Tucson for quite a while. Obviously that means it's home to you. Why is Tucson your home after so long? What is it about Tucson that is home for you and your family?
Well, because I went to the U of A, and I did go back to Phoenix one summer and did an internship, and I realized that first of all, I loved just being in Tucson. It's kind of a smaller hometown feel. I think that I met my wife at the U of A. All of our kids, our 3 kids were born in Tucson, grew up in Tucson, went to high school here, although they did go to other colleges outside of Tucson. I won't mention ASU, but so it's really kind of that grounding that I feel part of Tucson being home.
It's your community.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Tom. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Tom Burmingham, one of our retail sales managers here at Tucson Media Partners. Thanks for joining us again on Partner Profiles. Remember to like and subscribe to our social media and YouTube channels. And I'm Brett Farah, and we will catch you next time.